Solo.
And hello! Mic is on. Excellent. Welcome to Solo Playthroughs. Got going a little bit early today. Originally had this scheduled for 5, bumped it up to 3:30. I know that's probably terrible form, and actually starting at 3:25 because the channel is going to fit into my life when it fits into my life, and now it fits into my life. And I plan on playing 1, 2, maybe 3 games of this. It's pretty quick. We'll see how it goes. Really enjoying this a lot. So that is something I might miss because, it's like comparison to some of the things I've been learning lately. Trustbus Odyssey, really easy to jump into. Some things that are very familiar about it, some things that are very unique about it, some things I really love about it, some things that I'm like, I could live with. But it is an excellent solo game. I am super psyched about featuring it now. Alfred Wallace says, I was hoping to see this one. Well, hope no longer, sir. Here it is. The intro fired up on the instant I clicked a link to check work voicemail. Most terrifying game of the year. Just for that. Nice. Yeah, dude, I'm digging this. Let me move this over. So I was lent this by a friend, Brian. He gave me his copy about a month ago or so, and then I realized that Brian is hoping to get rid of this in a math trade. So if I was going to learn it, the time to do so was now, right now. Now, the way this works, this game has a interesting mechanic in that you are playing a number of games, and the whole goal is to win 7 games before you lose 7 games. Every time you win a game, you take one of these cards. If you get the gold card, you win. Every time you lose a game, you take one of these cards. If you get to the gold card, you lose. So that is interesting. We'll put the victory and defeat cards there. And the way it balances, if you win a game, it gets a little bit harder next time. If you lose a game, it gets a little bit easier. So it's an interesting mechanic. These cards are in a random order. I am not sure that was the greatest design decision because I have played this enough. I've played a full campaign yet, but I've played a few games, started over, played a few games, started over. Then I'm like, there is a pretty significant difference into how some of these cards affect gameplay, at least as far as in my experience. So it probably adds a lot to long-term replayability. I don't know, I think the part of me that loves balance kind of wishes they just kept with a standard narrative track. I think the game might have been a little bit better for it. So that is a small nitpick, but I will put that out there. We are going to put out some HUT cards. On the back of these are little rewards or things that might tell us to read a section in the storybook, which we will see as we go. At the beginning of the campaign, there were 6 of these HUT cards. Now we are down to 4 because 2 of them were just one-time usage. Some things will be told to go into the campaign history, and that is there. If you're worried about spoilers, I wouldn't watch this, but I don't think the story is a lot of what drives this. I think the mechanics are that good, and the story is like a little sweetener. So, I don't know. I would not personally be worried about spoilers with this game, but I could see that being an issue for some people. Now, these buildings, what are they? Great question. The orange buildings represent farms. When we can put these farms out, we need to have a build site. We start the round with 1 build site. When you cover a build site, you immediately get the benefit pictured, and then in Harvest, if you have this little circle symbol, it will give you some extra things in Harvest that you will absolutely need. Most of the time where I've had success, I try to get my 3 farms out super early, and then we go to the other buildings. Well, what are these other buildings? We have, first of all, the green buildings are, I don't know, one of these is huts. These are huts, I think. The green buildings are huts, and the huts allow you to put another villager card down here for some extra income in Harvest, so that could be super helpful. but they also give you another space to put one of your meeples to get a benefit. So as soon as we get this hut on the board, well, then we can put a meeple here to get any non-white meeple. So we can get a red meeple, a black meeple, a blue meeple, or a yellow meeple, which could be super helpful. When the game starts, there is one hut space unlocked that does not have a corresponding building. It is just there, so we can put a meeple here to get one provision. Provisions are super helpful, and we'll talk about why as we go. Now, these purple buildings, I forget what they're called, but they do things. Just like any other building, they have to go on an open build site. You get the benefit immediately. But what these do is allow you to use your meeples more interchangeably. So at the beginning of the game, white meeples are only white meeples. But once you put one of those out, well, now white and red meeples can be used as if they were the other. When you get multiple of these out, if you get multiple of these out, that means that, look, white, red, black, and blue meeples can be used as if they were each other. That could be super flexible. Or you could take the yellow one off and white equals yellow. You do not have to go left to right. Things are super flexible in that sense. We have our canal cards. The game starts. It gives you 4 canal cards that have 1 and 2 on the back. It gives you 2 canal cards that have 3 and 4 on the back. I have unlocked 4 different ones from the originals. They made, again, tweaked it a little bit harder. And then if we have 4 cards that have 5 and 6 on the back, of which I think I have 1 of the originals that are still in play. So I'm going to go ahead and randomize this. We'll set up the canal. There's one canal card that's a starter card that I have not gotten yet, which is, my opinion, pretty brutal. So I would not be too upset to continue to not see it, but we'll see. And it is not there, and it is not there. This is actually a card that makes life a little bit easier. I was glad to unlock that. So we will continue to not have to deal with the mechanic that I think is a little bit too challenging for early in this campaign, but you know, I've been wrong before. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to set up the 3 or 4 cards. Now, I have never played with any of these. I just got them unlocked in my last playthrough. So this one has a story symbol. So when we build this canal, if we build this canal, we will go to the storybook and read section 26. Normally that will tell us to take one of the cards out of this deck and add it in an appropriate place. And we'll see how that plays out. Now, the game goes until one of a few different things happens. The only way you can win the game is by building all 6 canals, because basically there's a wave coming that's threatening to flood your village, but you're trying to get a canal to channel the water away from your village. So you're trying to build all 6 canals, and then you have to survive until the end of the round. That is easier said than done, and you will see why. So that is the only way you win. Now, the ways you lose can be as follows. There are 2 primary ways you can lose. I think off the top of my head. One is that the river advances before you have built the appropriate canal. So you basically got flooded out. Another thing that can happen is you can have 7 barbarians that fill across the top here, which is pretty brutal. And it's, again, the last round, you're normally building that 6th canal and then trying to defeat 3 or 4 barbarians at minimum. It's really hard to do at times. But we'll see. The nice thing to do about building a canal is you also open up. Oof. So I did not get I did not get the final beginner canal thing there. Hopefully we'll get that in a future place. So when you open up these canals, certain things happen. You just have to follow the instructions. I'll start playing, and this will really make sense as you go. But it does open up, again, each of these spots open up different trades that you can make, and that's really important to your ability to win the game. I mean, so much of this game is resource management, but more than that, resource conversion to the resources that you need to get certain things done during the action phase. The action phase is where the bulk of this game will take place. That's where you'll be building buildings. That's where you'll be fighting off barbarians. That's where you will be building canals, etc. So I'm shuffling up the villager deck. The villager deck has some interesting mechanics. We are going to start with 10 villagers in our ready deck. All right, so I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'm going to put these cards right here. All right. As I use villagers, I have two ways I can use them. I can use them to get a small benefit, which would mean they would go into my exhausted pile, or I can use them to get a larger benefit, which means they have to go into my discard pile. The problem is, as soon as I go through this deck and I need to draw more cards, if I can't, that's when the wave will progress. So this is our timer mechanic. So you want to keep as many cards in your exhausted pile as possible to delay how many rounds it takes between the wave progressing, right? Now I'm going to take the rest of these cards. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21. The campaign started with 30 villager cards total. We're now at 31. So we picked up a villager as the game went. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these across the top at the start of the game. And it's a lot of information on all these. These will make sense as you go. So you will see in the bottom left corner of each card, most of them have the number 0. Anything that has a number that is higher than 0 came to me through one of the story events of the campaign. So for instance, this guy, number 10, was the guy I picked up along the way. Now, all these slots, you'll notice this slot has no provision cost, but this slot has 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, and 3. If you're interacting with a card, any card in that row, you have to pay the corresponding provision cost. So this one will be free to interact with, but these are going to have a cost between 1 and 3. And when I say interacting, that means interacting with the villager, and I'll talk about what that means, or interacting with the Barbarian. Now, the Barbarian deck is super interesting. It started with 16 cards. I believe we're at 20 now because we lost one of the original Barbarians, but we added 5 new ones. And they have interesting mechanics. They can be bribed. They attack you every round, and they could cause you to take damage. Whenever you take damage, that's reflected by losing a villager from the top of your ready pile, not to the exhausted deck, but to the discard pile up there. So exhausted pile, discard pile, draw pile, ready pile. That terminology took me a little bit of time to get used to. I did not find it the most intuitive, but eventually we got there. So shuffling up the Barbarian deck, we're going to keep this off camera up here. And we only start with one Barbarian. Now, it's one of the special ones. So this Barbarian, to defeat her, we need to send a blue and a white a blue and a yellow, it's like white, meeple to defeat her. And when we defeat her, we get one of these shells. The shells are important. They do a lot of things. They're the basis of most of your trades that you're going to make. You're also going to need them whenever you build a canal. However, she, unlike most barbarians, cannot be bribed. So we either defeat her or we take 1 damage every time barbarians attack. At the beginning of the game, our little barge ship is going to start there. Now, the barge ship is important because you can only build 1 canal per round. So when you build a canal in a round, you put the ship there, and then it goes back to the next card until, again, you build all 6 canals in 1 game. So we're starting this game because that's the setup. So then we're going to go and we're going to harvest round. In harvest, we're drawing 4 cards. So I'm going to get 4 villagers off the top of my ready deck here, and I'm just going to probably just place them on top of this. I really don't need this book too much. So there's our 4 villagers. And what else am I going to get? Well, I'm going to get 1 white laborer. I'm going to get 1 shell, and I'm going to get 1 provision. That is all she wrote. Now I'm going to take a look at what I have access to. I really don't even have a blue and a yellow. Plus, remember, it's going to take 3 provisions to defeat her, so it's going to be unlikely to deal. I'm going to be unlikely to deal with that barbarian on this first round. Now, what could I do? Well, I can get a brick here. I can get a wood here. So I could go ahead and start in building one of these farms, which I think makes sense. I do not have. Well, I could get access to another shell. I mean, I could build a canal this first round, but I'm not feeling too much of a rush in doing that. I think getting another laborer here makes sense, getting this farm built. So what I am going to do is I'm going to take this card and I'm going to discard it to my exhausted pile, and that's going to give me a brick. Now, if I wanted to instead put it in the discard pile, I could get a brick, so that's in the brown background, plus I can get a laborer, which is in the red background, but I don't want to do that. I want to keep my exhausted pile pretty thick, especially because I know I'm going to take a damage at the end of this round, and I want to get this pile up as much as possible. Now, I'm going to interact with this villager up here, and there's no cost, and I could either take her and put her in my exhausted pile, or I could just discard her and get what's in the brown. Now, I do not have the option to discard her and get what's in the brown and the red. I can only get what's in the brown. So I'm going to discard her, and that's going to give me a piece of wood. And now I'm going to take my white laborer, I'm going to take my brick, and I'm going to take my wood, and I'm going to build the farm. So I'm going to put the farmer, I'm going to take this farm. I could do any of those three that I want. This one's going to give me a laborer in income. This one gives me a provision in income. That gives me a meeple of any color except for white at harvest. I'm going to put this up there. Since I'm covering up that provision, I get one provision. Now I want to add more cards to my exhausted deck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both of these provisions. I'm going to spend one to get him, and I could discard him there to get 2 wood. I don't want 2 wood. I'm going to take him into my exhausted pile. I'm going to take another provision. That's the cost for her. I'm going to take her, put her in my exhausted pile. Again, I'm trying to get this deck as thick as possible. I'm going to take him. I don't want to exhaust him. I don't want to put him in discard. I'm going to exhaust him and take a blue meeple. I'm going to do the same with this guy and take a red meeple because that's what's in the brown. And you know what? I do want to get some more income. I think it'll be smart to get some extra meeples. So I'm going to take this because I don't really have a use for another white laborer. I know I'm getting white laborers and income extra already. I'm going to put this in here to give me extra meeple income at harvest. And I know I want a yellow meeple to deal with her next turn, if at all possible. And I have found that for these spots here, these spots, now you only have one open at the beginning of the game. As soon as I build a hut, I can get a second spot for more income. So I think this is going to be helpful to get that yellow meeple. I found that to be the best use of these spots. To get any color meeples. So we're going to do that. And now I'm going to put this red dude on the hut to get a provision. And I think that is all I can do for this round. Now, in between turns, you cannot keep any things in your hand. So any cards I've drawn, I have to use in some form or fashion, but I can keep any number of meeples, provisions, or shells, which I will obviously go ahead and do that. At the end of that round, I'm going to see if I need to return the barge. I do not. The barge is still on the board, and I'm going to suffer an attack. This barbarian is attacking me. I have to take 1 damage. I put that card up there. Woof! That would have given me a provision and a shell. Could have been important. Alas, it was not meant to be. And now I'm going to reconstitute this line. Well, how am I going to do that? I'm going to push all of the villagers to the far left. I'm going to move the barbarians over as far as I need to make room for any new barbarians. At this point, we're only adding 1 new barbarian this round. So I'm going to move her over here, and we're adding another barbarian right here. Now, this one takes 3 meeples to destroy, but I could bribe it with a yellow meeple, and when I defeat it, I get not only a shell, I get a shell and a white laborer. So that's super cool. Now, there's 2 empty spots here. I'm going to fill that with some extra villagers. So we get this one and this one. Barbarians fill right to left, villagers fill left to right. We now go to the harvest. So now that's a full round. So when we do the last canal, we have to survive the barbarian attacks and the refresh row of the cards. And that's important because, again, if all 7 of those end up being barbarians, you lose. So you're going to need to make sure that you have spaces for 4 barbarians to be filled without completely filling up the row. And you have enough cards in your deck to withstand the attack, any attacks in that last round. So I'm going to pull 4 cards because I'm in harvest. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to do this line first. I do wish the farms were like down here. I think that was like a mistake because I find in income it's a little confusing because I always want to draw cards first and whatever. But anyway, so I do 4 cards. I'm doing a white laborer, a cowrie shell, it's called a cowrie shell. I do not know why. And we get a provision. So I did this line. I'm also getting a yellow meeple because of this card. And I'm getting a white meeple because I built that farm. Most excellent. So I know for a fact I need to build this canal this round. I cannot mess around with that. I'm going to get destroyed otherwise, but this is definitely something I want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spend my whatever's on here. So I don't have to worry about these costs up here because I'm interacting with the canal. So that's 2 white meeples and 2 shells. And I built the canal. So I'm going to take this barge, put it back over here, and a couple of things happen. First, I get a clay and a wood, and I take 1 damage because building canals is dangerous work. So that villager goes over here. Now, this can be empty, that's fine, but as soon as I either take a damage or I need to draw cards and I can't, that's when I'm going to have to advance that and reset my ready pile. And this canal just goes out of play. I'm going to discard this guy to my exhausted pile. We're going to get a white meeple, and now I'm going to build another farm because I have another build site. So I'm going to spend this wood, that clay, that laborer, and we're going to put this up there, and that gives me a cowrie shell. And now I have 2 of my 3 farms built. Oh, by the way, this laborer this meeple I should have taken back. I could definitely have done that. How am I gonna do this? I really want to get rid of this one. I don't want to take another damage there, but I might end up doing it anyway. All right, so I'm gonna put her in my exhausted pile. She gives me 2 provisions, 1 and 2. I'm going to spend 3 provisions, the blue meeple and the white meeple. So 1, 2, 3, blue and yellow. It's not white, it's yellow. And now this barbarian is defeated, and all I get is 1 shell in return. I'm going to put her in my exhausted pile. Again, I'm trying to keep this pile as thick as possible. It gets a provision. I'm going to take I'm going to put this dude in my exhausted pile to get a white meeple. I'm going to take this one, and I'm just going to, again, it costs me 0 provisions to take, and I'm just going to put it in the discard pile to get a yellow meeple so I can pay the barbarian without losing a card. But it's kind of like this, instead of having this here, like, it's kind of the same thing. It just makes me feel a little bit better about things. I'm not going to really need a lot of yellow meeples in my circulation, so I'd rather do that than lose a random card to destruction when the barbarians attack. I'm going to spend 2 provisions to get this card. That cost me 1, and this card, that cost me 1, and I'm going to put them both into my exhausted pile. I'm going to put this meeple here to get a provision. And I think that's all I can do. Now, I have this trade available to me now because I built the canal, so I can spend 2 shells to get a provision that would allow me to turn around and then also recruit this guy, but I don't think that's the best thing for me to do, although it is tempting. But provisions could be really important, and he'll be free next turn, so I might as well just wait till he's free, as much as I would like to get 4 more cards. So if we do the math, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 11 cards in my deck. I started the game with 10. I've had added an income, so you can see where the cards have gone. So that's the end of the round. The barge is going to return to the next available card that's still on the board. And what we're going to do is then have this suffer attacks. I'm going to bribe this dude and give him a yellow meeple. We're going to refresh the card row. The villagers go here. We have to make room for 1 new barbarian. This new barbarian is going to go here. And then we're going to come 1, 2, and 3. All right, it's another one of the meeples that cannot be bribed, so it will be attacking. It needs a red and a blue meeple to defeat. I'm going to take this meeple back from the hut, and we're going to go to income. I'm going to do this line first again. Well, I can't draw 4 cards. I have no cards there. So what happens is this wave advances, but it does not advance onto where the card is. And then I just reconstitute. So I don't take any damage. It's just I need to refresh. So now the wave just advances. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Not as many cards as I would hope. So we are going to prioritize not burning cards as much as possible so we can get this deck really, really thick, which does mean I'm probably going to want to try to kill fight off that Barbarian this round, so I'm not losing any more cards, which is interesting. I find it interesting. I don't know about you. All right, that's fine. So we're going to set this, and I'm going to do this income line. So I draw 4 cards. So then 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to get a yellow meeple because of this income here. And then I'm going to get a white meeple and a meeple of any color that is not white. I know I can get a blue from that, so I don't really need another blue. I could use, I'm going to get another red from there. I'll get a black. And maybe we can defeat both those guys, but that's going to be a lot of provisions, which I don't think I'm going to have. Maybe I build the canal this turn, but the problem with building a canal is every other one is going to mean adding another barbarian card in the very next round, and that could be indeed not exactly what you want to do, but it would give me another build site. And this one doesn't make me lose any cards, and I could pretty much immediately build another. I can build another farm, so that is making that look a lot more attractive if I can get the provisions. I could always spend 2 shells for provisions. That's a meeple spot. That's a shell. I do need to recruit some things. And that would give me a provision income every round, so I don't hate that. All right, let me build this thing, and then I'll start figuring it out from there. So 2 whites, 2 cowrie shells. This comes back here. This comes off. I get a thing and a thing. And again, that was a special card I got as the campaign unfolded. That meant that it allows me to build a canal without taking damage. So it's a lucky card to get pulled up. Now I do wish the red meeples and the bricks were slightly different colors. That is not that was not the most amazing design decision that they ever made. I'm going to take this, put this in my exhausted pile. It gives me a white meeple. I'm going to take the white meeple, the wood, and the brick, and we're going to build our last farm. When I put the farm there, I can take a meeple of any color. I will take a yellow. Makes no sense. I'll take a blue because I don't know, because I like blue, and why not? We'll take a blue. I need 3 provisions if I'm killing the guy this round, which I think I want to. No, I'll take a yellow, actually. I will take a yellow. That way I can bribe this guy again without losing any cards, and I could deal with him, and then we'll see how many provisions I can get. So I'm going to take this guy, put him in my exhausted pile, get a blue. I'm going to take this black guy because I don't need him for anything else, and he's just going to go on that hut spot to give me a provision. I'm going to take this guy and just discard him to the discard pile to get a provision and a cowrie shell. Now I'm going to take these 3 provisions, the blue and the yellow, the blue and the red. Why did I need the yellow? I needed red. No, I did want the blue to begin with. Blue's probably better. All right, the blue and the red and the 3 provisions. And this guy is now out, so and then I can get a cowrie shell, which is super nice. I'm gonna turn woof. I'm gonna take this guy, exhausted pile, get a red. This guy, exhausted pile, get a brick. No, I'm gonna take this guy, and I'm gonna do discard pile to get a brick and a provision. I'm going to spend these 2 cowrie shells to turn that into a provision. Oh, no. I'll put this guy back. Just give me the brick. I'm going to, instead of taking the red for him, I now unlock this where I can take a card from my hand and I can just put it in my exhausted pile and I don't get the benefit. I don't need that red anyway. And I could just get 2 cowrie shells and then I'll spend those 2 cowrie shells to get another provision. That's smarter. I want to, again, maximize the number of cards in here because I was already pretty low. And remember, I took that card that was free and I put it over there, so that's not great. Now I'm going to take these 2 provisions and I'm going to add these 2 cards to my exhausted pile. Again, it was 1 for each of them. That makes me feel a little bit better. I got all 3 farms out. I feel pretty good about where I am. And the only card I chose to get the brown benefit of that guy instead of taking him in, but I did get these 2 added, which is going to be important, and I'm not going to lose any cards from Barbarian attacks. Stephen Shaw, live story time with Greg. Let me grab my hot cocoa. What a treat. What's up, Stephen? Yeah, we haven't had a story time with Greg moment yet, but we are indeed going to be there very soon. So, this is going to go back on here. Barbarian's attack. I'm going to bribe him with a yellow. These 2 come all the way over here, and this guy's going to move to make room for 1 and 2. Barbarians fill right to left, so that's 1. That's 2. Oh, she's special. And we'll note that now to interact with this barbarian, it's only going to be 2 provisions as opposed to the 3 that we have been dealing with prior. 1 and 2. So this was a special barbarian that was added. She gives you a special reward, but if you don't deal with her, it's either destroy 2 cards or get rid of 2 provisions. No thank you. We will definitely try to deal with her this turn. So the black people is going to come back and we're going to go to income. In income, I'm pulling just 4 cards again. I'm going to do this line first. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to do this thing down here. I get a yellow meeple. And then we're going to do this line here. Oh, bud, my bad. I also get a white, a shell, and a provision. I think I remember that last time. I took this yellow meeple already, and here we get a white, a provision, and a color meeple of my choice. I will take a... It doesn't really matter. I will take a blue. I'm probably killing her before I do anything else, so that's fine. All right, I'm gonna discard her. We get a meeple. We get a shell and a provision. Now I'm going to spend the 3 provisions and 3 meeples of my choice. I'm going to do the... I have no wood. That's a brick. It's not hugely helpful. It is nice to build these when you can. When you're not adding the barbarian, because it's just the way the tempo of all this sets out. White, black. I'm going to discard her to get a black meeple. Try to hold on to this yellow. In case I want to build that, but I would need a shell. All right, I'm going to spend the black, and a blue, and 3 provisions. 1, 2, 3. To do this. She's out. Now her reward is I get to draw a card, not from the draw pile, but actually from the village deck. So that's this yellow symbol right here. Draw a card from the top of the townsfolk draw pile, and that's awesome. So this comes out, and it gives me a blue. That's interesting. Now again, to bribe this guy, I need a yellow. To bribe this guy, I need a wood. I'm a little light on provisions. Could do that. Do I want to dump you? I save the yellow. I don't build the barge this turn, but I get rid of him. I have this yellow to bribe him. I kind of like that. I'm going to recruit her to this pile to get a black. I'm going to take her, put her in the exhausted pile to get a blue. I'm going to put her in the discard pile to get 3 provisions. Nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put her in the exhaust. I'm going to put her in the exhausted pile instead of this discard pile to get 1 provision. I'm going to put this white meeple here to get another provision. I'm going to spend these 2 cowrie shells to get another provision. And then I'm going to spend these 3 provisions, these 2 blues, and this black to get rid of this guy, which gives me 3 cowrie shells. I'm going to still tempted to do. Nah, we just won't build it this turn. That's fine. We'll get 2 new ones. Not adding all the cards that I want. I'm going to exhaust him to get a white. I'm going to spend 2 cowrie shells to get a provision. I'm going to spend that provision to recruit this guy, because extra provisions can be helpful. And he unfortunately will not be able to get her added, which is a little bit regrettable. So I did not build a canal, so that's fine. Barbarian is going to attack. I'm going to get rid of him and bribe that guy. These move over. That barbarian stays right where it is. 2 more barbarians come out. So 1 and 2. And then we add 2 villagers to this row up here. So 1 and 2. We go to harvest. I draw 4 cards. Now I can only draw 3. So 1, 2, 3. And now this advances. I'm going to reshuffle and draw my 4th card. This deck is still not where I want it to be. This guy can come off the hut. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we did get up to 15, so maybe it's better than I thought. So I got the 4. I'm going to get a white meeple, a shell, and a provision. I'm going to get a yellow meeple for this piece of income down here. And then I'm going to get a white meeple, a provision, and a red meeple. See if I can't deal with this guy this turn. Alrighty then. We are definitely going to want to advance the barge and hopefully build something. Yeah, I think we have what it takes to build something. This makes me happy. So I'm going to spend the yellow, white. Oh, I need another shell. What is going on? Well, I need another shell. That's not great. I do not have the great colors up here. Mm. If I could just kill one of those guys quick, I get a shell that way, but my color schemes are all wrong. Red, red. All right, I'm going to try to have a relatively big turn, so let me not screw around here. So I'm going to discard her. I get a black meeple and draw a card. It was something that gave me a shell would have been nice. I'm going to discard him. So again, it's twice. It's not great. I'm getting a white meeple and a red meeple. I'm going to spend these 2 provisions, the red, and the black. So this is out. It gives me a shell and a white meeple. A lot of white meeples over here, which probably isn't great. I'm going to spend these 2 white meeples and a yellow meeple and 3 shells to get this barge off here. This gives me a clay, and I have to burn 2 cards. So I've definitely burned 4 cards this round, which again is a lot. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We only have 11 cards down here between these 3 and here, and then whatever I add. So that could be fine. I also get a 3rd brick. I get a 3rd brick that way, right? Did I take the brick already? Shoot. I don't think I took the brick. If someone can confirm that. Where would my 2nd? Did I take the brick? I don't remember taking the brick, but someone can tell me if I took it. All right, it's not going to matter anyway. I'm going to take this guy, put him in my exhausted pile, get a white meeple. Nope, not get a white meeple, get a brick. I get what's in the brown, not in the red. So I'm getting there. I don't need the white meeples. I'm going to spend this guy, put him in my exhausted pile, get 2 wood. Yeah, I just need to know if I should have 4 bricks or 3 bricks. And then I'm going to spend this 1 meeple, 3 of my 4 bricks, and a wood to build this hut. I put the hut here, gives me a provision. We flip this over. It tells me to draw a card, and this is actually going to be from here. And that gives me a nice card. Now this goes back in the huts and canals section for future turns. I'm going to exhaust her. She gives me 2 food, 2 provisions. And then I'm going to exhaust him. He gives me a red meeple. I'm going to Definitely want to get as many cards in here as I can, so I'm going to spend 2 provisions to get 1 for this one for this one, and this one. We're just building up cards kind of indiscriminately now. I have a red meeple for them and a provision, so I can bribe the barbarians, which is helpful. I'm going to go here to get a provision. If I had a second provision, I could recruit that one, but I don't think that's going to be in the cards. And now that I have this spot open too, I can add an income to it, which I won't do for next turn, but I'll do for the turn after. I actually wanted all these things. These 3 cards came from there, so I wanted that red meeple for that, and I needed the provisions obviously too. So one of them made sense to tuck either of those. I'm going to yeah, for sure. I'm going to put this here and give me a black meeple. Now note, I can always spend a white meeple and a provision to get a meeple of my choice that is not white. I don't know why you would want to use a white meeple and a provision to get a white meeple. Doesn't seem like that'd be a very good trade at all. But that's fine. Feel pretty good about that. The barbarians are going to attack. It's going to cost me a provision and a red meeple in briberies. This townsfolk comes over here. These 2 make space for 2 barbarians still. And then we refill right to left for the barbarians. So 1 and 2. So that's one of the special ones that cannot be bribed. And then left to right for the villagers. My guys come off my huts. We're going to get our income. I draw 4 cards. One barge should come back on here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I get a white meeple, a shell, and a provision. I get a yellow meeple from down here. And then I get a white meeple, that's a yellow one, a white meeple, a provision, and a meeple of my choice. I will take a uh, red, in case I don't defeat her. Once we build that canal, we're adding 3 barbarians, so that's not looking like a great idea. Let me go ahead and wipe this guy off. So we're going to do the black and the yellow and 3 provisions. Get rid of him. Gives me a shell. Again, trying to prevent losing cards as much as possible. We're going to exhaust her. Gives me a provision and a shell. Do I want to make one of these income? It's not the worst idea. I'm going to take her and add her here. Yeah, we'll just load up on yellow meeples. She's costing me a brick. I do want to get wood for this. I mean, that's the next thing I'm going to want to build, and I get a wood there, which is nice. So I'm going to exhaust her to get a wood. I need a red meeple. Man, me, if I don't know, I don't think I grabbed this brick. I'm pretty sure I didn't. But if I did, she's gonna put the whole game in jeopardy, kids. Other ways of getting brick though too. Provision. Cowrie shells can be provisions. Red meeple, brick, and provision. This would be enough to pay the barbarians. Yeah, we're gonna go white meeple, brick. Going to spend 2 cowrie shells to get a provision. We're going to put a white meeple here for a provision. We're spending 2 provisions to get 2 more cards. Just really loading up this deck with as many townsfolk as I can. Oh, wait. Let me put this guy down here, take 1 less white meeple this round, and I'll have more in the future. And that just makes more sense for income. And then I'm going to put this guy here to get myself a black meeple. All right. I think canal is going to advance. That's fine. We have to bribe these guys. I'm spending a brick, a provision, and a red meeple. They have to make space for 2, so they're taking up more and more up here. They fill right to left. That guy's a special one that started the game, the campaign. I just haven't dealt with him yet in the first 2 games. We do income. These guys come off the huts. I have 100 billion red meeple, white meeples, so getting one of these out soon is going to be important. So I draw 3 cards. I can't draw any more. The wave advances. We shuffle this up. This comes out. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now 12 might sound a lot. Remember, I'm losing 1, 3, and 3, so it's not a picnic over here. So there's our 4 cards. We're going to do the rest of this. We get a white, a shell, and a provision. We're going to go down here. I'm getting a white and a yellow. And then we're going to come up here. I'm going to get a white, a yellow, and a provision. All right, let's see what's going on with this. I'm spending the 2 whites and a black, and oh, man, I need more shells. I'm super shell poor this game in a way that's very weird. What gives me a shell? Defeating her gives me a shell. Great. So I'm going to put this here to get a blue. I'm going to spend 2 blues and these 2 provisions, and 2 yellow, a blue, and 2 provisions to get rid of that, which gives me a white and a shell. I'm going to spend these 3 shells, 2 whites, and a black to put this here. Opens up this canal. I have to destroy a card. I get a wood. And I read storybook entry number 26. All right. I was cleaning the mud from my hands when it happened. We had just finished reinforcing the canal banks when a shout of rage bellowed out from behind me. The barbarian rushed towards me in a rage, death in their eyes. File the constructed canal card in history. Find card 61 in the story deck and file it in the box under huts and canals for future games. So story box card number 61. So we're looking for the numbers on the stones. And this goes in huts and canals for future games. So it's another alternative one. Reveal 1 barbarian card on top of the barbarian pile, placing it into the rightmost space above the board. If there's a barbarian card already in a slot, slide it 1 place to the left. Continue sliding cards over to make space if needed. There are 7 cards above the board. Immediately recruit or dismiss the leftmost townsfolk to make space. So again, this moves over, and another barbarian comes out. So that's super annoying, but it only costs a white to bribe, so I'm not very worried about her. Interesting. Now, I think I'm supposed to have this brick. I'm really not sure. But seeing no objections in the comments, we're gonna spend the 3 wood I have, this brick, and this white meeple. That's the cost for one of these, and I want my white meeples to equal black meeples because I have a lot of things that need black, and we're gonna put this over here and immediately take a black, nope, a yellow meeple. Nope, a blue meeple. I am so light on provisions, but I have a million now. We'll make it a. No, I have to take a black or a red. I can't choose here, so stop being silly. Yep, we'll take a black meeple. Yeah, I don't know why I thought I could choose. I obviously could not. All right. I'm going to discard this to get, or exhaust her to get a blue. I'm going to put this one here to get a provision. I'm going to exhaust him to get 2 provisions. I'm going to spend 2 provisions, a white meeple, which I can use as black, and a black meeple and a blue meeple to defeat this guy. That gives me a shell and a white meeple. I'm gonna take her here, spend a provision to take her here. The problem is I'm adding 3. That's a big problem. I'm adding 3, and at this point, I don't have 3 spaces. I'd be overrun with barbarians. And I'm super light on provisions. I only need 1 provision for that. Yellow, yellow. So I'm going to do this to get a yellow. So instead of, I paid the provision, instead of putting it here, I'm putting it up there, taking the benefit immediately. I'm going to discard, I'm going to exhaust him to get a blue. I'm going to take this card and just dump it using that exchange to get 2 cowrie shells. I'm going to get those 2 cowrie shells in to get a provision. How am I'm getting blue all freaking game. I'm perplexed as how I am light. I'm getting yellow all game. I'm perplexed at how I am light on yellow. I don't see another path to get shells, to get provisions. Oh, that's crazy. I think I'm getting overrun. Yeah, I didn't get my strong provision cards out. And that white equal black. I mean, this is just 2 provisions. I needed that blue. I think I recruited her. I've just been light on shells the entire time. Yeah, I'm not seeing an exchange that's going to work here. It's really unfortunate. Should have had this doubled up on yellow. I thought about it last turn, and then I put the white one there instead, and I took the brick and the wood so I could build some things. But that was not great. But yeah, like being really, I wasn't killing enough things to get cowrie shells, I guess, or I kept getting the ones that like just weren't giving me great rewards. They just kept giving me more white meeples, and I just did not need them. But I don't see how I could do this. I'm 1 cowrie shell away. And that's with not taking this reward at all. Just, again, I dumped it for 2 shells. But I need that blue. That sucks. I got a lot of cards in here, too. It's really unfortunate. All right, well, I think that's all she wrote. I can't do much else. I'm going to take a damage. I lose a provision. I can lose a white. I'm going to take another damage. So I take 2 damage total. When we reset the line, though, they're going to have to move over, and we add 3 cards. Once we add 3 cards, and there are 7 total, that is indeed the ball game. So we're going to take our first loss card. First loss. I don't see how you go through the stop cheating. This is Ryan Jamison. What's your win loss for the campaign? I mean, I'm 2 games win, no losses, but I lost a bunch as I was like kind of getting acclimated to the game. Tiger fan, your shell poor because you haven't built any of the purple buildings. I mean, I get that. I mean, I just built one, right? I mean, let's think about it this way: like, if that canal doesn't add another barbarian, I'm kind of in good shape because then that economy starts going. Like this guy came out because of a story event. I could survive, or whatever. This guy, so I could survive these attacks. This one would have been out, and then I still survive another round, and I kind of like where I'm at, right? I also think like what I got a little unlucky with the colors that are out there. Like I needed to do the black, but I just wasn't able to kind of make it work with what I had available. I just needed to kill one more thing, and then this one. I mean, I was getting the yellows here. I just unfortunately was 1 yellow shy, and I couldn't make it work. But yeah, I don't really hate my setup. I do think like this is one of those games that the way it's built, just sure variance, like you're going to lose some games, right? Like I don't think you're going through this campaign 7-0, barring an inordinate amount of good luck. And I think that's fine. I mean, in some ways, it's almost like Arkham-y in that sense. Like you're kind of failing forward, and the games are quick enough. It is a little frustrating because of the story. Like if you're someone like me who likes to take mulligans and like try it again, like you can't really do that super easily in this campaign. It's almost like you're resetting up the entire campaign over, and that's fine. So we'll take my first loss card. And it's going to say, did I lose it because of the wave? No, I did not. I lost because of the... Oh, yeah, so I can get overrun by Barbarians, or I could actually run out of cards in my draw pile and exhausted pile. So we lost because I got overrun by Barbarians, so we're going to read Story 9. Immaculate to Shanxi, my heart is tossed to and fro like a bird before the storm as I write to you this day. My heart grieves as we had to abandon our work this year as the barbarians moved against us in force, driving us away from the river and the canals we have worked so hard to complete. We will need to start again here, but first we will have to make our way back and push back the barbarians that remain. However, all is not helpless, my darling. Messengers from His Eminence arrived in the village this evening, while we arrived in defeat. They brought with them news of gifts coming from the Emperor, gifts to show his favor and acknowledgement of all the work that is being done to complete this grand design. I will have to keep the news of our recent defeat to myself until I can show success to the emissaries and return them to our Lord with something to praise in court to keep his favor. File the defeated card in the history. Find cards 48 to 51 in the story deck, and file them in the box under other setup cards. 48, 29, 50, 51. During the setup of your next 4 games, shuffle all the remaining... Oh, these are boon cards. Shuffle all remaining boon cards and reveal just one of them. Return the rest to the box for future games. Each boon card gives you an immediate reward before starting the game. Once you resolve the rewards, file boon cards in the box under history. Each boon card is only used for a single game, regardless of its outcome. Okay. That's fine. So these come over here. These are other setup cards. I will just randomly take one for the next game now. So we are 2 wins and 1 loss. All right. So boon card. We'll go hither, and we'll get the other. We'll get the normal setup cards. So we have hut. We'll reset these. Ryan, good game. Huts are much better than outposts. Need to concentrate on building those. Build those first time before your first farm possible. In the first half of the game, you want to add as many cards as possible to your deck. Yeah, I get that, but the first hut before the first farm, I find that hard, dude. I mean, because this is almost... I mean, this is giving you another thing in income. This is giving... I hear it, but I guess I just haven't seen that. I've just found the farms have been super, super important. I mean, I guess it gives you another income slot, but then you're taking another card out of your economy. Like, I've just had so much more success, like, getting those 3 farms out as soon as possible. But maybe... I mean, I do like the outpost a lot. I mean, I really do. I think I just got... There's so many of these barbarians that give you 3 shells when you defeat them. But again, they were kind of buried. So this is like draw a card, 3 shells, 3 shells. The fact that this guy's still in the game is kind of hilarious. But, you know, he's usually defeated in the very first game. Just the way my games have played out in this rendition through the campaign. I have not played a full campaign yet, so a lot of this is first looky, which is fine. All right, these are out. Done. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 3, 4, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 2, 5, 6s. Move this back. Whoo! Alrighty then, kids. Let's see what's up. So bam and bam. So again, still do not have the original. We're going to be forced to lose 6 cards to build those last 2 canals. We have our new 3, 4. Wait a second. What was the one? Oh, right, because it may be... That's right. There's one more story card left here. Bam and bam. Did not get it. So no stories for you, kids. And we have these 4 cards. There's 1 story card left here and 1 lucky card. That's very helpful. That is that is... So we got neither of those. So we're still not dealing with the 1 story card I really dislike, which I'm not complaining about. These come out. You'll note there's a 3rd box on these cards that has some kind of food, like grain or it's like grain or steak or milk. They there's this whole mechanic where you have to set townsfolk's cards aside and like deal with that. I just find them really not great. One argument about, considering where I was at with my income and I had so many meeples, if I had put a card that gave me an extra shell and an extra provision in the second income slot, that could have been good, but I don't think I had that option. I think it was like yellow meeple, white meeple. Like, yeah, I just, this my combo just wasn't coming together. This game, like, I really love this game, by the way, and I want to make sure that that's pretty clear. Like, this to me, like, I liked Hadrian's Wall a lot, but Hadrian's Wall held zero replayability for me. This game does not have that problem. I could definitely see this being a game I would come back to, every 6 to 12 months, and just kind of play through again. And, I might actually just try to grab this from Brian. I like it enough, but we'll see how that plays out. So, get my peeps, my villagers. So, we'll see what this little boon card does. It's a nice little helpful piece of setup. Might give me what I need to maybe try this build a hut strategy right away. We're going to put 10 cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we'll have 21 cards up here. Put our barge on the first card, and we're going to do our boon card. Our boon card says, draw 2 cards. Randomly add 2 more townsfolk cards from the townsfolk draw pile to your ready pile. So townsfolk draw pile is there. So I start with 12 cards here instead of 10, unless I am really mistaken. But I think that's how that's supposed to go, based on the symbology. Just don't know why that, because that symbol is 10, and this looks a lot like draw 2. So I think they could have done a better job with that. But this is definitely the ready pile. So it would be not that great if it's just like, oh, here, have 6 cards in your starting hand, because then you only have 4 cards left, and that's really forcing your hand with the barge. Yeah, that they. Oh, okay, I see. It's multiple cards as opposed to the 1 card, so the icon's a little bit different. So this is now just in the history. All right, we're gonna do income. I draw 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I get a white meeple, I get a shell, and I get a provision. Let's make some magic happen. Oh, I gotta put out some villagers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then this guy's gonna need to get bribed with a yellow meeple. I don't seem to have access to yellow meeples unless I do that. That's an idea. That is an idea. I do not have access to wood. I could do that. I could do that. I mean, I already added 2, so I could be a little more liberal in how I'm approaching this. Let me do this. I'm going to get her into my exhausted pile, get a shell, and a provision. I'm going to spend a provision to take him and exhaust and discard him, as opposed to put him in the exhaust pile to get 2 wood. I'm going to put him in my exhaust pile to get a brick. I'm going to spend these 3 and get my farm out again. So 1, 2, 3. I do think I would like a extra white meeple. That's going to go up there. It gives me a provision. I'm going to put her down here. So I'm going to be a little shy on black meeples, but let me get the red meeples and income. I'm going to need them for that dude. I'm going to take her and exhaust her, give me a black meeple. I'm going to spend a provision to take this guy. We're going to take this one. I do not have the 2 shells for a provision trade available to me yet, but I can do this to get a provision. And then I could spend these 2 provisions to get her. And I like all of that. And that gives me 2 shells, which I don't hate. I'm going to need them to do that. We'll have to do the canal and probably do another farm. And actually, I could, in theory, last another round here. No, I can't. I could, instead of losing a random card, instead of taking him, because I definitely, instead of taking him into my exhaust pile, I could just discard him. You had to get a yellow meeple, and then spend the yellow meeple to bribe that barbarian. That makes me feel a little better. Let's keep this pile a little bigger for now. All right. Yeah, it just gives me some options. I mean, in theory, I could not build. I'm gonna want to, but I don't know. I just think this makes me a little bit better, and who knows? That top card might be something I really want. So these come over. This moves over 1. We get another barbarian. It's this dude, and then these 3 come out. So 1, 2, and 3. In income, I'm gonna get 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to get a black meeple back. We get a red meeple and income from this card here. I'm going to get a white meeple, a shell, and a provision from there. Let's do it. So I'm going to discard this dude that gives me a white meeple. I'm going to spend these 2 white meeples and these 2 shells to do the canal. That comes there. I get a clay and a wood, and I have to trash a card. Ooh, lots of provisions. Look at that. I'm going to discard. I'm actually going to exhaust him. It gives me a white and a yellow, which still let me pay him off. And to bribe him, I'm going to use a white, the clay, and a wood to build another farm. I'm going to build this guy here. It gives me a shell. We're going to grab him here. We have this guy, bring him here, gives me a clay, so this is all I need to bribe. We're going to put this guy here to get a provision. I'm going to spend these 2 provisions to add these 2 cards. And I'm going to exhaust her to get a wood. All right. This goes back. Barbarians attack. Clay and yellow out. These go down. These go over. Still just adding 1. It is her. Adding 2 more of these. 1 and 2. Income. I draw 3. This moves up. We shuffle this. The card shuffle is key. I agree. Brian, Huts are a better option. This seems pretty good. It's better. Income should have been 2 white meeples. For a white meeple or income. Did I? That makes sense. I think, yeah, I think I forgot that one. Good call. I'll take it now. Yeah, definitely forgot the white maple. I thought I felt like, because I built that farm in the first round because I knew I was going to want to build a canal. Yeah, that makes more sense. Take all your benefits, people. All right. This comes out. And let's do the rest of this line. So meeple, provision, clay, or shell. We're going to do this line, red meeple. And then we're going to do this line, white meeple, and black meeple. Sure. No, white meeple and red meeple. Nope, white meeple and black meeple. Yeah, okay. I'm going to spend... two, this goes here, this is out. 1 and 1, destroy a card. Done. Now we're adding a second dude next turn. Oh, the joys. I super light on provisions again. I think I exhaust. I'm gonna need provisions. I'm gonna exhaust him, get 2 provisions and a shell. I'm gonna spend 2 provisions, 2 red and a black to get rid of him. Gives me a shell and a white meeple. I'm gonna spend these 3 things. I really want to get that provision income up, get my last farm out. I'll get the hut is definitely, it's usually the 4th thing I build, are the huts here. I'm going to take a black meeple from there. Nope, a red meeple from there. I'm going to exhaust her, get a black meeple. I'm going to put this white meeple here, get a provision, put 2 cowrie shells in to get another provision. I'm going to use 3 provisions and these 3 meeples to get rid of this guy. Gives me a cowrie shell and I draw a card. I'm going to bring him down here. We're going to, I need a red meeple to not get messed up there. Fine, I'm going to actually just discard him to get a red meeple. That way I can pay the bribe. I'm going to bring her down here. I got a lot of wood, not a lot of clay, so that's going to be a problem. I don't have I get a clay there. That's something I would like to build next turn, I think. We're going to exhaust her, get a white meeple. We're going to... I do need clay. Discard him, get a white and a provision. Turn these 2 things into a provision. Spend the 2 provisions to get both of these cards. And I think that's good. Barge comes back, bribe the Barbarian. We have to add 2 now. This comes down. Barbarians fill right to left, so it's one of the special ones. He's, 2 of the special ones. Woof. 1, 2, and 3. This comes off. I draw 4 cards. 1, 2. There's some clay. Woof. 3 and 4. We're going to do this line now. White, provision, and shell. I'm going to do this bottom line with a red, and then I get a white, a provision, and a yellow. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. I was thinking of canal this talk, but then those two came out. That's a bad combo. Like just burning 2 cards around is not the thing of amazingness. And again, I'm just really the fact that they're taking yellow is a big problem. All right, well, let me try this. I'm going to spend the 3. I need shells again. I need shells again, kids. Alright, I'm going to just discard her for 2 shells. I'm going to spend the white, the red, and this 3rd shell to do this. That's opened up. That gives me a brick. I burn 2 cards. Oh, then I burn another. Man, this is... She's bad. Alright, I'm going to take her, put her down here, give me a red, so I can pay off the 1 barbarian I can pay off, because don't think I'm doing much more. I can discard both of these for reds. I can spend the white, the red, the white, the 3 clay, and a wood to put this hut there. It gives me a provision. I flip this over. It gives me another provision. This goes in canals for future games. I could put this red here for a provision. I can put this white here for a yellow because I need a ton of them. All right, I like that. I can spend this white and this yellow using nat trade. It's just white and a provision for another yellow. I can just discard her over here to get a blue. I can spend the the yellow, blue, and 2 provisions to get rid of her. That gives me 2 cowrie shells. Nope. I'm going to keep one of the yellows. Actually, I'm going to undo some of that. She can come back here because I have the red to bribe her. I spent the yellow, blue. I'm going to take the white and the provision back because I didn't need that second yellow. And then I'm going to spend the 3rd provision. So I only spent 1 yellow, 1 blue, and 3 provisions to get rid of that, which gives me a shell. I know I can bribe her, and that way it prevents me from losing extra cards. I'm already losing 1 because of that dingbat. And that makes me not very happy. And we have the red that I can use to bribe her, which is better. I'm going to use these 2 to get both of these cards. And I did not have enough to get another income card in there, but I can do that next turn. Overall, I feel like I'm in an okay place. This comes back here. Barbarians attack. This comes off. I have to lose a card because of that guy. This moves here. They make room for 2, filling right to left. So that and that. And 2 more villagers coming out. 1 and 2. We go to harvest. I pull 4 cards. I can only take 1. This advances. I'd say get the hut out now, but no space. Could you clear the canal? Hey, I get this card so I win last night. Haven't played with them yet. So 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I only have 12 cards in there. That is not good. Because I'm losing 8 just from that crap. Yikes. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. I get a white, a shell, and a provision. These 2 come off my huts. I'm going to get a red from this line. And then I get a white. Oh, man. A white, a yellow, and a provision. All right, I'm going to put her in the exhausted pile. It gives me a black. I'm going to spend the yellow, the black, and 2 provisions. Get rid of him. Gives me a shell. I'm going to add... this to income. Yeah, I don't... Oh, man. It's crazy. I could open up the canal now. Use whites as yellows. Then I don't have a blue. I can get a blue. I need a black and a brick. I can get a black there. This is a little nuts, but here we go. No. Yes. Wolf. I can pay that bribe. All right. We're going to spend, but then we're adding 3 next turn. I think blitzing this a little bit isn't the worst idea. I'm going to put this thing here to get me a black. I'm going to spend 2 whites, a black, and 3 shells to do this. This comes off. I lose 2, 1, 2. I get 1 wood. I have so few cards down here. It is not good. All right, we're going to put this down here. It gives me a brick. I'm so light on provisions. I'm going to spend... the meeple, the brick, and the 3 wood to put one of these out. so many reds. I'll make whites equal yellow. We'll put this here to get a black so I can pay 2 of the bribes. Exhaust you, I get a red. I'm going to put 1 of the reds here to get a provision. I'm going to pay the provision to get this one. And then I'm going to take this one. And then we're going to have 3 billion barbarians out next turn. But we'll get extra shells. Overall, I think we'll be okay. So this comes back. Barbarians attack. 1-2. I can't pay a brick, so this is done. This guy moves over. They move over here. We need 3 more barbarians. 1, 2, and 3. We do harvest. I draw 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 1 card left here, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in my discard. So not enough, especially since I'm only adding 1. We get a white meeple. These 2 come back. A shell, a provision, and then another shell because I built my first outpost. All right, we get a red and a yellow. Red, yellow. From these 2. And then I get a white, a provision, and I can use whites as yellows, so I'll take a blue. Yeah, I have way too many reds. All right. So we're going to go here and get a blue. I'm going to do 2 blue, 1 provision, and a red to get rid of her, which gives me a shell and a white. We're adding him here. There's really no choice about that. I have to get more cards back in here. So light on everything. I need more provisions. I'm getting rid of her to get 3 provisions. So 1. Yeah, I don't have much of a choice. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to spend a white and a provision to get a blue. I could do whites as yellow. And I'm just not getting the clay. I can pay that bribe. I can't pay the other bribe. So great. I'm going to use 2 provisions. And using white as yellow to get rid of this one. It gives me a cowrie shell and a white. I'm going to come down here. We get a red. Exhaust this, get a wood. It's almost automatic. I really can't. I already got rid of the 1, which I'm regretting, but I needed to. I needed provisions. Get a white. I could spend whites as yellows. I'm so light on provisions. I'm going to go here to get a provision. All right, I'm going to spend the white and the provision to turn this into a blue. I'm going to spend these 2 whites as if they were yellow, and the blue, and a provision to get rid of this. That gives me 2 shells and a wood. The Barbarians want 2 shells and a wood and a white meeple. The white meeple is the only thing I don't have. It's not the greatest round because I essentially just held serve. And I'm going to lose a card. So that's a bit of a bummer. It didn't make any headway, right? If I could kill a 4th, that'd be helpful. Just don't have the income to make all of that work. I did, and not even accumulating. I mean, I got 4 calorie shells, so it's not nothing. But yeah, it's not the greatest round. These 2 being down here, they should be. Man, I'm just using whites as yellows is fine. I just need to get to some blacks to try to make this work. All right, so Barbarians attack. I'm spending the 2 cavalry shells and the wood. I take 1 damage. I don't have a white. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's really bad. These all come down. We're gonna add left to right to left. That's not good. Again, I can't bribe him, so he's just gonna try to kill me. I need to draw. This goes up. And I draw 4. We get these guys back. I have so many reds. Well, that'll be helpful there. All right, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're getting a white, 2 calorie shells, and a provision. We're getting a red and a yellow. And we're getting a white, a provision, and a blue. Spending the 2 provisions, a 2 red and a blue to get rid of this guy. That gives me 2 provisions and a brick, or 2 shells and a brick. This would have added here too. Interesting. Add you here. Get a black. I'm gonna go here to get a black. I'm going to put this here to get a provision and a shell. I'm going to spend the provision. The white equals yellow and this black. This goes here. That's done. It gives me a shell and I draw a card. That's a good card. That's a good card. I'm going to put this down here. It gives me a brick. So many reds. I have just an absurd amount of reds. I need to make red equals blue. That's what I need to do. But I can get a hut, which gives me another red. Getting meeples is not the problem. That is for sure. Getting the right meeples has proven to be more difficult. Get 2 black. I'm short of white. I get a white there. All right. Oh, I need black. Need lots of black. All right, I'm going to spend 3 shells to get a brick. I'm going to spend this white 3 brick into wood to build this. That gives me a red. It flips this over. It lets me draw a card. This goes back to huts. Draw a card. It's a black. Wow. Tuck her. No, man. If I get, this is really what that plus card draw, but like I build a canal, I'm losing 3 cards. Like, oof. If there's a way I can kill 2 more of these puppies, it would be a lot better. And I think, the other problem is I was so desperate for food. I think I discarded a lot of my food cards up here. Yeah, there's 2 of them right there, but this one got buried. I think this one came out actually when the canal was built, so I'm like kind of really hurting for food. So I can go there, get 1 food. I know I want to do that. I'm so light on food. Woof. Yeah, I don't have a wood. I can get a wood from there, so that's helpful. Wood provision in a blue. The blue is going to be the hardest. I can get 2 black and a yellow there, but then I need the provisions for that. I have to discard 1 card. I can probably survive that. So let me go here. We'll get the wood so I can bribe this guy. But again, we're not making headway, and that's. I guess I built a thing, but that's not great. And I'm not gonna get the income because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could have put. I'm gonna have to lose a card. Yeah, getting less than 10 cards here is probably super dangerous. Especially because I'm gonna have to burn her to get the black. Woof. Wood. One black, white, black, yellow. If I keep her, I get a black. If I keep him, I get a yellow. Keep her, I get a white. I could spend the white in the provision to get a black. I can 2 shells to be a provision, 2 shells to get a provision. So 4 shells equals 2 provisions, 2 black and a yellow to get rid of this guy. That gives me 2 shells and a brick. I now Don't need this. Oh, man. I'm gonna have a billion meeples. I mean, I don't need the red. Yeah, I do 2 shells to get a provision. That pays for some of that. And I bury her because desperate times, kids. So I'm gonna need to do that canal at some point. But the burning 3 is about to burn 1, 2, burn 3. Yeah, I can't even consider drawing an extra card. This is not gonna work anyway. Alright, provision out, wood out. I burn a card. These come over. 3 more come out. 1, 2. That's cool. She's not going to be bad because I can use white as yellow. This comes over. Income, I get 2. This moves. And once I get this done, I could do some things there too that will help add cards to my my supply here. All right, we're getting a white, a red, and a yellow. So I did this income first. These guys come back. I'm going to do the rest of this income, white, shell, and provision. And then up here, I get a white, a provision, and a blue, because everything up there needs blue. I barely have enough to go again, but that's just not a thing. White, 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 white. What needs red? Oh, that guy all the way at the end needs red. All right, we gotta keep cards down here. So provision and a shell. I'm gonna do another red. Have to add this card. Although I'm tempted to take the blue. If I can wipe out these 4, that'd be fine. We'll take the white. And we'll take the wood. Actually, I might need this for the 2 shells. I might need this for the, because what am I doing with the wood, realistically? Not much. All right. That lets me draw a card. That gives me a meeple. Red, red. There's literally only 4 reds up there, and I have 5. All right, I'm using the whites as if they were yellow and getting rid of this 1 red that I do not need. I'm not going to need the rest of these whites. Oh, shoot, I need to build a canal. I don't necessarily need to build a canal. I mean, I could pay for a lot of those. So we'll see. So I'm going to use these 3 meeples and 2 provisions to get rid of her. That lets me draw a card from here. Oh, that's beautiful. 2 provisions. Thank you very much. That was a beautiful, beautiful thing. All right. Red, blue, and 2 provisions. Gets rid of you. Shell. Burning 3 cards to build this is super gross. Give me a wood and a brick and a provision so I could pay for the rest of these, but even if I add 3 I could overrun with barbarians, and that's not a great place to be. Red, red, yellow. Wood. That's probably smarter. Red, red, yellow. I can use white as if they're yellow too. So I'm going to use 2 shells, 2 shells. So 4 shells and a provision. So that's 3 provisions, 2 reds and a yellow. We get rid of this guy. That gives me 3 shells back. I'm going to put this red here. It gives me a black. I'm going to use the white, white. 1 white as if it's yellow. And the black and 3 shells. To put this here. This comes off. I get a wood. I have to burn 3 cards. Gives me 7 in this universe total. But I can pay for those 3. Oh. I cannot pay for those 3 bribes. I can pay for 2 of those bribes. I'm going to discard her to get a wood and a white. I'm putting the white here to get a provision, and now I can play for all 3 bribes. So I was going to burn a card anyway. Wood lady, I don't think it's that important. Now I got 2 meeples that I can do something with, and then I have this where I can start adding cards from there if I need to. The question is, can I defeat 4 and build the thing next turn? That is going to be extraordinarily hard. But I think we have an outside chance. So I pay all 3 of these bribes. This wood goes here. These guys move down. We get 3 new ones coming from the right. So wood, that guy's still there. All right, so those bribes aren't terrible. This gets reshuffled because I have nothing in my villager deck, my draw pile. And we add 1 here. Oh, that's a good card. I can't use it. This goes back here. We go to harvest. I get 1 that moves over. We shuffle. Is it as soon as I have no cards that I lose? 2, 3, 4. I have to check something. Okay, you only to lose if you have to destroy a card and there's none left. So in theory, I could have 0 cards left and still be okay. Yeah, there's like another one of these 5th or 6th canal cards that would not require me to destroy, but I did not pull it. So we pretty much are just, can I get by with these 4 cards and nothing else? So 1, 2, 3, 4, a white, a two shells, and a provision. These guys come back. A red, a white, and a yellow. And then up here we get a white. It's a lot of. That is a lot of colors I do not have. A white and wolf. A blue. So 2 left here. So I have to add this here. Can't kill her. She's gonna make me draw a card, and I can't afford to draw cards. I could do this, which will let me draw cards and still give me a chance. Maybe I exhaust her. I mean, I do that. I'm gonna need the shells. Woof. Let me discard her instead. I get 2 provisions. I'm going to use white as if it's yellow, yellow, and a red, and 3 provisions. To kill 1, I get 3 shells. At minimum, I'm going to need to kill 3 more and build the canal. And get another card down in here. And this guy is going to be impossible, and I can't kill her because too much. Oh, never mind. I can get these cards over in here, so I actually don't need to get another card in here. I can discard him to get a yellow. Don't need the brick. Don't see how that helps me right now. God, I needed more food. That's interesting. All right, if I discard both of them, I get a blue and a wood and a red and a wood. Blue, wood, red, wood. And then I could spend this white, 3 wood, to give me another blue. And give me a little bit more flexibility. But it doesn't matter. think I'm better off doing this. Let me not take the 2 wood. Just take the blue and the red and not the 2 wood. Get another wood from there. If I spend 4 shells is 2 provisions, and then those 3, I killed this guy. I get 2 shells and a wood. Yeah, I think I do. Give me this wood. I'm going to spend the white, the 3 wood, and the brick to build another outpost. Let's make white equals blue, and I'll take a blue. I'm going to discard her to get 2 white. I have 4 cards here. This is nuts. This is nuts. I don't need this. Oh, I need that red for this. I need that for this and that for this. Oh, there's a build site there too. Oh, that's super interesting. So late on shells. I'm gonna move this. Ah, man. Blue, blue, black. So late on shells. I'm gonna put this guy here, take a black. The whites are now blue. I'm gonna spend 2 shells to get a provision. These 2 whites become blue, and then this is out. That gives me 3 shells. I still have to build this canal this round. The thing is definitely advancing. So if I can kill 1 more and then the canal. So I have. I just don't have the provisions. I've been very late on provisions. I can get 1 provision there, but it's going to cost me a meeple. 2 blues and a yellow. White equals yellow. So I could do that there, but then I'm drawing 1 card, and woof. And then I'm going to somehow need to come up with 3 more meeples to do that, which I don't think is realistic. Oh, and I'm gonna I'm like virtually out of provisions too. Sucks. This sucks. I don't think the order would have worked, but if I had built this first and then I build that, then I can draw a card, but then you're just totally like having to get lucky. Well, I have 4 cards here. She's only 1. But I don't have the blacks. So, alright. 4 shells equals 2 provisions. These all equal each other. So this one's dead. I get a shell back and I draw a card. That I'm gonna get rid of this. I get 2 provisions and a shell. I can use the 2 provisions and 2 shells to draw a card from here. I can get rid of this to get a black and a provision. And then I can not do it. Yeah, I'm going to be just shy. Crazy thing is I'll be able to bribe the barbarians, but I'm going to get over flooded by the canal. Just super annoying. Black, red. Yep, there's nothing here, kids. I can go here, get a provision and a wood, because why not? No, I can get a provision and a shell, and then I could use those to draw another card. I can get rid of that to get a wood and a white meeple. And yeah, it doesn't matter. Alright. They attack me, I take a damage. This advances. And the canal overruns me. Woof. The second loss, I had to read 49. Humble Tashunchi, in all our days together, I have watched you work tirelessly to make our family great, never asking for anything. The thought of this inspires me in all that I do, constantly working hard for the greatness of all our people. I meditated today as I listened to the sound of the waters rushing in the river nearby, heralding the coming floods, whether it is all for naught. Do I waste my days here when I could be with you and our family? I was approached then by a messenger. Some farmers from a higher up this valley had come to visit our camp. I spoke with our elder, who told me of livestock lost to the floods, but he believed that we would overcome the floods. I will not give up. I cannot. I will see this work through to the end. The elder has made an arrangement with us also. If we can replace some of what the floods have taken from him, then he will release workers from his farm to come and aid us. Perhaps I can find some milk to spare. File this in history. Find card 47. 40, 50, what? 45. There you go, 47. Put it in the other setup cards. It's the skill card. For all future games, put the skill card face up along the board. It's an ongoing ability that may be used multiple times at any point during the game. To use this ability, you must place a townsfolk card from your hand to your exhausted pile that features the milk icon on its left side. Immediately after doing so, you may gain any 2 workers of the same color, excluding white. Oh, that could be super strong. Dude, I like that. So, Private Vendetta, hey there. When taking back the attack on the barbarian, you took back a white when it should have been a yellow. Oh, you undid the trade extra as well. Never mind me. Sergeant, I'm not here, and we have a lively chat. What's happening? I'm not needed anymore. I'll do one more. We'll try to get a win on camera. We're now 2-2 in our campaign. We got real close. Just, I don't know. There's definitely there might be something about maybe the 3 farms aren't going to be as effective as you get deeper in a more difficult campaign. I did kind of like where we were at. I wasn't able to build up my deck as much as I liked early. It put me in a much more precarious position late. You do see how, like, that last round, as long as you survive, you're fine. So you could burn cards a little bit more willy-nilly. That's where if you can get a 5th card on income, it's really strong. But my deck wasn't big enough to really withstand that. And so that kind of put me in a little bit of a bind. Um, in a way that was a little unfortunate. These other huts do get really strong if you have the meeple income, and that's like kind of like how this was setting up for me. I do think I was just very provision shy. I just a lot of my strong provision villagers I think ended up being there, and we just kind of ended up trying to scramble. I mean, there's, maybe in a sense, instead of getting these two out first, maybe I think I was doing the provision farm a little earlier. That might make some sense. Get that provision farm out, make sure that you're not poor there. There was a time early I spent two provisions to get the card from the middle. That might have been a mistake. So it's a very exacting game, but I think the flexibility in the trade system, I think, really sharp, and I dig what it does. But I assure you, I felt like I was more on top of things last night than I am right now. So we'll have two setup cards now because to go with our two devastating losses, and I do mean devastating. We'll shuffle these four hut locations back together. You also, I mean, seeing the flexibility. Look, I think the outposts and the huts. I mean, the game just gives you so many interesting choices because like the outposts and the huts are really both so good for just different reasons. The huts can really build that engine. The outpost can give you just maximum flexibility, especially if you're going to be strong in one income or another. I think I haven't found focusing on one to the detriment of the other being very effective for me at all, especially in my games like off camera. So we'll see if I can try to find a victory in here in our third try. Now, there is still a 1-2 canal card that I've been hoping I don't get. All right, so we still are. I just want this. Give me number 5. There's a 5-6 canal card that I want to get. There's a 1-2 canal card I don't want to get. So we'll see. Hey, story time with Greg will commence when we get to the 4th canal here. And can I avoid the 1-2 canal one more time? Apparently I can't. Woof. Yeah. This is the game changer card for me. I have not found a way to deal with this well, and you will see what I'm talking about in a second here. Okay, spoke too soon. It's not super lively, and again, I have no idea what the game is about. Decided to skip the whole thing. It was lively. I think people just got, they're very sad that I keep losing. They're just, they're, it's very, very sad. All right, I start this one. That's interesting with 2 brick and 2. What are these things? I got 2 brick and 2 wood. There's a boon. I will take it. Boony boons, baby. Boons for me. You get a boon, and you get a boon, and you get a boon. Remember, I started too with like 2 extra cards on my deck and still just really was not able to capitalize on that at all. So would be nice to get a win here, pull back ahead in our campaign. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, because we are bad guys too. And me, I'll let you determine my proper title at 1. And this guy's still knocking around in our campaign as well, which I find hilarious. I want him to come out early. Killing him late, because I kind of know what he does. Killing him late is not great. Killing him early can be a very nice influx of resources, but he's a pain in the ass, and you do need to have a fair amount of meeples. I know there are certainly no manticores in this game, but maybe scouts. I mean, we can. Yeah, I think some of these barbarians might be a little partial to manticores. Oh, one of the bad ones right off the bat. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the kind of card you want in that last round where you can get a meeple and draw another card. So those not coming out in my last hand certainly made that harder. And I was really close to being able to do that canal. I mean, I had like 1 meeple and I had the shells. I just really needed to get a couple more things to go my way, and I would have had it for sure. Pulling 4. So 1, 2, 3. So of course nothing that goes well to try to kill her on the first turn. So that's a guaranteed loss card. Although, remember, I can discard a thing with a milk to get 2 meeples of one color. They do have to be of one color, if I read that right. That came from story 49. They have to be the same color. Okay, there's no great place to put this, so I'll put it down here. We'll make that happen. We'll make it happen, kids. We'll make it happen. All right, great. Rest of my harvest is going to be a white meeple, a shell, and a provision. Woo! 2 meeples of any color. I can do that as many times as I want. That's a really nice benefit. I don't hate that. That's interesting. Maybe I do kill her. Yeah, I'm going to put this here and get a black. I'm going to discard this into my exhausted pile. Again, I want to make sure I'm doing this all right. I'm pretty sure it said exhausted. I do wish it said that on there. From your hand to your exhausted pile. Yep, cool. And then I'm going to take 2 reds. I'm going to put this in my exhausted pile to get 2 provisions, and I'm going to spend the 3 provisions, the black and the red, to get her out of there, and that gives me a shell. Most excellent. I don't have any real access to white. I'm going to spend the white meeples, I should say, white meeple, that and a that, to place a farm. We'll place this farm, we'll get a provision. And I'm going to use the provision to get this wonderful lady. I'm going to use these 2. No, I have not built the first canal yet, so I don't even have access to that, which is unfortunate. I'm going to put this meeple here, which gives me a provision. I'm going to spend this provision to get this dude. Could actually build a hut pretty early here. I'm going to get a... Yeah, let's build a hut next turn. I'll get this, which gives me a brick. And we'll start loading up on blue meeples. And hopefully the same sequence of barbarians comes out, because woof, blue meeples were in a short supply. So that income is already started. Great. We are done. There are no barbarians left. These 3 guys move over here. We add 1 barbarian to the thing. It is 2 blue meeples and a red. We need a black meeple to bribe it. And then we're going to add some of our townsfolk. Get this red meeple back. We go to income. I get a white for that line. I get a blue for the bottom line. And then we'll do the middle line. I get 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to get a white meeple, a shell, and a provision. We're going to put you down here to get a black meeple. That's going to pay off her. I'm not going to try to curl her this turn. I do need to open up this canal. So 1, 2 shells, 2 white laborers. This comes back here. This goes away. I get a brick and a wood. I have to burn a card. And now we have access to that trade. I'm going to spend the I'm going to discard her to get a wood and a white meeple. I'm going to recruit her down here. And so I prefer the white meeple lady than the wood lady at this point, so I think that was a good thing. Again, I started with enough wood. We're going to spend our white meeple, 3 brick, and 1 wood. So I build a hut. We'll put this here. That gives me a shell. This flips over. It gives me a provision. This goes into available for canals for next turn. Excellent. We're going to put you in the exhausted pile. It gives me a provision and a shell. Put you in the exhausted pile. It gives me another brick. I'm going to put, get that every turn. We'll put this here for a provision. I'm going to put you over here, and we'll take a yellow, because who knows what I'm going to need next turn. But that is important. And actually, I won't take the brick. I'm going to put this guy here. And let's get more income. Load it up on income. So again, that boon card really let me put this together quick, which is going to be important because the next canal I build is going to be really annoying. Wait, I would not have put the black meeple over there because I needed to bribe the barbarian. So that's fine. Barbarians, well, this goes back here. Barbarian attacks. Oh, I would have spent 2 provisions to get both of these. And I don't need blue meeple guy bad enough, so I want to keep provisions for other things, so we'll leave him there. All right, so again, technically the action phase is when I took those cards, then the bards went back, then the barbarians attack. I just did that a little bit out of order. That goes there. 2 more cards come out. 1 and 2. I'm going to need to do harvest. So we're going to do the middle line first. We get this. I have to put this over. We shuffle this up. Now I put 2 income cards down here. So that is going to reduce the number of cards in my hand by, it's like, almost 20%, right? It's a pretty significant decision. These guys come over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we still have 11 cards down here. So we started with 10. We now have 11 between our cards in our hand, the exhausted pile, and the draw pile. That's the draw pile and the ready pile. So 1, 2, and 3. Done. So we're going to do the rest of the middle line. So we get a white meeple, a shell, and a provision. This line, I get a white meeple. It's weird not having the farm done, and now I get a blue and a yellow. Considering I have the income here, maybe that farm's not that important, right? And maybe I can just do this middle provision line, but all this looks a lot easier. Remember, I started with 2 extra wood, 2 extra things, and I took advantage of this card already. So again, the balancing of the campaign, as you lose, it gives you a little bit more tools in your tool belt, so to speak. We are going to want to deal with one of these clowns, and then maybe also build a canal. So I'm going to spend 3 provisions, 2 yellow and a red. Get rid of you. That gives me 3 shells. All right, I'm going to spend 2 and 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2. This goes over here, and we did build the canal, so we're going to have 2 guys coming out next turn. That comes up there. I get a brick and a wood. Brick and a wood, and then we have to read number 3. Number 3, disaster. The new canal to the east of our camp is nearing completion. Storms have been assailing us like horrible breath of a dragon, forever slowing our progress. The men have become weary. I have been focusing on completing this work with such intent that I allowed carelessness to creep in. A short break in the torrent provided us only a moment to proceed. While I was overseeing the last reinforcement on the canal, I received word from camp that a fire had broken out and part of the camp was ablaze. With so many hands away at the canal, the fire raged like a beast, and despite valiant efforts from those still close by, a scorched mess is all that remains of our food store and the tents surrounding it. Food will be scarce now. We have been foraging heavily to feed the workers and keep everyone strong. A concentrated and extended effort will need to be made to restore what was lost. A fool may take some solace in the stories coming from the camp that this was the work of Wazaki, the monkey demon of the river. I think I'll put my energy into figuring out how to restore our food supply rather than chasing spirits. The burden of this oversight will hang over me for a long time, not unlike the storm clouds that now gather once again. At least the canal is done. File the completed canal card in history. Bum, bum, bum. Find story card 16. Do ding. And place it alongside the board with the side below shown face up. Great, so this card is now here. That's a problem. In addition to the standard rules for winning the game, you will also need to fulfill the requirements of this card. You cannot claim a victory if it remains unfulfilled, blah, blah, blah. So basically, I need to put townsfolk 1, 2, 3. So a milk. So remember, milk's here, but nope, I got to put a milk card here, then a fish, then a meat, and then I read something. But again, those cards come out of my deck, right? So that's it's hard. I don't love it. I find it very like a weird challenge, and this is something that could happen the very first turn of the game, and like woof, good luck. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Now, I do really desire, I am desirous, I'm very desirous of a white worker because I would like to build a thing. Great. I'm going to put this here to get a brick and a white meeple. I'm going to put the white meeple, a wood, and a brick. I'm going to put this here. I can take a meeple of any color. I will take a red. I can put this here to get a black. This here to get a red. And I am not ready to start fulfilling this. It is way too early in the game. I'm going to put this here to get a wood. So I can build an outpost pretty soon. Do I want a wood? No, I don't want the wood. I'm going to discard it and get 2 meeples of any color that I want. I'll get 2 yellows. It's a really strong ability. It just stays out there for the rest of the campaign. That's crazy. That is crazy. I feel like I'm just cheating. It's like an absolute cheat code. I mean, again, there's some weird balancing with the order that these things come out. Yeah, that's wild. That's a wild ability. Okay, well, and now I know. And I like this little these little supply of meeples. I'm gonna go here and get a black meeple, so I literally have 2 of every meeple in my supply. We're gonna go here and get a food. I'm gonna spend the food to get this provision. I'm gonna spend 2 shells as another provision to get this. I'm gonna add this. Then I just have the 1 barbarian. I do not have enough food to take it on, so I'm not that worried about it. We'll go ahead and to spend the, well, first of all, we go to step 3. Actions are done. This goes here. Barbarians attack. I spend the black meeple. These guys slide. We now have to add 2. So starting from the right, 1 and 2. And starting from the left, 1 and 2. All right. Harvest, we draw 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to stay on this line. I get a white, a shell, and a provision. These guys come back. We go to down here. I get a blue and a yellow. And then up here, I get a white and a provision. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, we're not adding more barbarians. I might as well do this canal this round, and then I can build something there. So we're going to have 2 whites, a black, and 3 shells. 2 whites, a black, 3 shells. Yeah, these 3 and 4 canals do make things a lot harder. The ones that start the game, the campaign, are not nearly as brutal. Then we lose 2. 1, 2. I'm gonna put him there, get a white meeple. Put her here in the exhausted pile, get a white meeple. Put this here, I get a provision and a shell. And put this down here, I get 2 provisions. I'm gonna build an outpost. So white, 3, and a brick. And I'll have all whites equal black. I'll put that there. We take a provision right off the bat. That's going to help keep me a little bit rich in shells. Now, which of these suckers do I want to kill? Well, the one that's cheapest makes the most sense to start. So we're going to take the 2 blue and the 2 provisions, so it's a 3, and the red. We get rid of her. We get a shell and a white meeple. 2 blues and a black. Well, whites can equal black. So I'll put this. Yeah, whites can equal black. So we're going to spend 3 provisions. 1, 2, 3. The 2 whites equals a black and a yellow. This goes out 2 shells and a brick. And we're going to take you down here. Put this yellow here for provision. I'm going to put this. Just a wood. I think I can take a hit. Do need to start worrying about this. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to mess with that right now. So I'm going to put this here, get a yellow, nope, red, nope, have red, have 1 red. I'll take another red because I'm getting blue and yellow here. I have 2 yellows there too. And whites can equal black, so that's fine. Red, I'm going to spend 3 shells to get a wood. 1, 2, 3 for a wood. That's going to help me bribe that guy. And then I'm going to spend 2 provisions to get these guys from there. And that puts me in a fairly strong place. All right, we're going to put the barge back on the board. I get barbarians attack. I bribe it with a piece of wood because, you know, barbarians, they're pretty simple. They don't need much. This comes off. 2 more come out, and still have not seen the big bad I'm hoping for. All right, so that's one of the bad ones. Can't be bribed, so probably want to kill it. These 3 villagers come out. Hut guys come back. We go income. I draw 4. I can only draw 1. This comes over. We shuffle this up. So remember, I'm losing 8 more cards when I build the last 3 canals. I'm going to have to spend 3 cards here. So we're not talking about a lot of cards. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cards. That's 14. So we have 14 cards in our little supply here. It's not a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because 11 of them are already taken up. So any card we burn has a pretty big cost associated. We're doing the rest of this. We're going to get 1 white, a provision, and 2 shells. We're getting a blue and a yellow. And then we're getting a white and a provision. Okay. I do not foresee building a canal this turn. Well, it's not the craziest of ideas. We're going to take you down here, putting this in here, provision and a shell. White equals black, so white, blue, blue. Sure, so 2 provisions, white, blue, blue. White can equal black, so this is out. 3 shells. None of these are milk, so I couldn't start this even if I wanted. So that's a little unfortunate. I'm going to turn, I got access to plenty of red, so I'm going to put this here, take a blue. And then I'm going to spend 4, 1, well, I'll put a yellow here, get a provision. I'll spend 2 shells to get a provision. So that's 3 provisions, the 2 shells and the 2 of those, the white and the blue. This one's out, I get a shell. Two shells to bribe that guy, that's not bad. So the question is, do I just want to build... I just want to build this. I probably do. I think it makes sense. So we're going to take this guy to get a white. We're doing white, white, red, and 3 shells. I have the resources. I want to do it now. So 1, 2, 3, white, white, red. This comes off. This is done. We lose 2. And then I read number 36 in the storybook. 36 in the storybook. Today as I woke, I greeted the dawn as it rose red and warm. It would rain today, and my heart was as heavy as the sodden earth beneath my feet. All I could think of was the rain wearing down the work we had been doing. However, this wait would not last. Through the roar of the rain came cries of joy. As I walked out to see the source of this commotion, I came to the edge of camp to see what the workers had returned. That our workers had returned. The work on the western canals completed. They had traveled with all haste to rejoin us. I could not contain my own joy as the rain fell, as we all took a moment to rejoice. File this in history. Find canal card 69. What would? And file it in the box under Hudson Canals for future games. So we just added 2 possible canals for the future. And draw the top 2 townsfolk cards from the townsfolk draw pile. Place them face up in your exhausted pile. That is awesome. That's super helpful. Wow. All right. Very cool. I cannot build anything. Could just take that damage now. It's a little bit less precarious. We're adding 3 barbarians. Don't love that. We're going to come here, get a red, come down. Yeah, none of these have milk. Down here, get a black. Yeah, I don't foresee. Yeah, I can't build anything now. I would like to build a hut for sure. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me get these. Damn it. No. I'll turn that into a food, and I'll take this one. And then I'll be able to bribe the barbarian with the other one. The other 2. So this came back. Barbarians attack. I paid it 2 shells. These come down. This moves over 3 now. Because we have to add 3. Barbarians fill right to left. And still no that guy. There's 1 space. We'll put this here. We go to harvest. I pull 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll finish this line. I get a white. I get 2 shells. And I get a provision. White, 2 shells, and a provision. I get a blue and a yellow. Hut guys come back. And then I get a white and a provision. I mean, you could like add bricks and stuff down here. I just haven't found those strategies to be highly effective for me. I'm getting worried about this. So I'm going to put milk guy on here. Not going to do fish guy this round. Again, whites equal blacks. Let me kill the closest barbarian now. So 2, red, red, blue. This is out 2 shells and a brick. He's just like a wasted card now, which I don't love the mechanic. Can I get? All right, I'm gonna come here. All right, I'm gonna get a. We get a blue. Maybe I do the canal, which is a little bit nuts. But it gives me a brick. I can get a white. I can build one of those. Yeah, let me do that. So I'm going to spend the white, white, blue, black. It's not going to add another barbarian next turn, which is fine. I had 3 cowrie shells. 1, 2, 3. This comes back here. This is off. I burned 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. And I get a brick. This is off. I can spend this guy to get a white. Uh, and then to do it this way, I would have burned this. Should be over here. I would have burned this card to also have gotten a wood. Because when I was doing that, I should have, I had that ability where I just took the blue, but I should have burned that card anyway, because I used the blue for the thing. And now I have what I need so I can build another hut. Hut's going to get built. I have to choose what I want. I like black. I think blue is the most obvious, so we'll think of blue. All those crap suckers are blue. This flips over. I get a shell. This goes in future games. This comes down. That red's not going to help me. 2 cowrie shells, a red, and a provision. We're adding 3. I can put this here to get a red. I can put this guy here to get a provision. I can put this guy. Could spend the fish. I don't really need the black, and I do need to do this eventually. We're going to spend the fish. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wolf, I have 2 meat cards in there. Yikes. Yeah, I didn't get add anything here to that income. She came from up there, I think. I needed the white to do the building. So I can look at that for next turn. Red. All right, this pays for everything. Not gonna overthink it. I may want to build another hut. I'm gonna build another something. So I will put this here and get myself a brick. All right, we return the barge. It goes on the last spot. I take a I bribe with a provision, a red dude, and 2 shells. These, I could not recruit either of them. They come down. These dudes move. They need to make room for 3. This one chases that one right off the board, and now there's going to be 6 barbarians there. So remember, I got to that weird cycle where I wasn't making any headway. Oh, there's that guy. Interesting. I don't add any new ones to the board. I now have to go to harvest. I'm going to draw 4 cards. That's 1. That moves over, so we're a bit ahead of the game. We have very few cards left here. All these yellows come back. Good thing about the barbarians there is they're pretty cheap to get to, and both of those guys are going to give me some nice some shells, which I'm going to very desperately need. I'm still trying to deal with this card though. It's just it's such a drag on your resources. All right, can I get meat? 1, 2, 3. No meat. No meat for you, sir. I'm going to go the rest of there. I get a white, a shell, another shell because I have an outpost, and a provision. I have no milk either, so I can't use this ability. I get a blue and a yellow. And I get a white and a provision. Don't think I'm going for the end this round. Let's see what we got here. So, well, I need this. I'm going to use her, get the brown thing. Remember, she was free because she was there. Oh, man. Lots of whites. I can use whites as blacks. I need a blue. I'll put the white here to get a blue. Great. I'm going to use 2 blues and a red and a 1 provision. Get rid of this guy. Gives me 2 shells and a wood. I'm going to do 2 whites, a blue, and 1 provision. 2 shells and a wood. It gives me 2 food. 2 provisions. Gives me a provision and a shell. If I can use yellows as blacks, that's not great. Can I use whites? I could get myself an extra card for next turn. I do need to kill 1 more of these dudes. I like the idea of the extra card. I'm going to spend 3 shells to get a wood. I could just put a dude there for a wood. Give me those 3 shells back. Right, I'm going to lose this card to get a white and a red. I'll put the red here to get a wood. I'm going to use a white, 3 wood. And I wanted the extra card draw. Yeah, that wasn't meant to be. White 3 wood and a brick to place this here. So now yellow equals black equals white. And I'm going to take, as I do this, a man, I need a blue. I need a blue and I can't get blue. If yellow equals black, I can get blue that way. Great. I'll pick a red. I'm going to spend 3 provisions. 1, 2, 3. The 2 yellows equal black and the red to get rid of that. To get a thing and draw a card. I'll get a provision and a shell. I'm going to add this to income. If we can do this next turn, that would be amazing. This guy goes here, gives me a provision. Yeah, I need to do the beef. Yeah, I needed that red and the white to make this work. And I think I'll have enough meeples, especially with the yellows equaling black and stuff, which is helpful. So I have the 2 provisions. I'm going to spend 3 shells, 2, 3 to get a wood. And that will help pay her off. And then I could set myself up. I need to kill 4 barbarians and do the canal next turn. And I think I'll be fine. All right. So, barge stays there. They attack 2 things in a wood. These all come back. These move over to make room. This one comes out. It's could be helpful. These fill right to left. Interesting. Very interesting. All right. We're going to get our income. I draw 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a beef. I mean, this one just has to go there. I can't win if I don't put it there. I'm actually going to get 1 white. I'm going to get 3 shells. 1, 2, and 3. And a provision. Down here, I get 2 yellows and a blue. I got 3 shells, remember, because the 1 and then 1 for each outpost. And then here I get a white and a provision. All right, this has to go here. I don't really have a choice. I read 13 in here. Our foragers have done well. We have endured with simple ration food, saving whatever we can for leaner times. We are starting to see the food store fill once again. It is meager, but the workers are inspired. Work has been hard in recent days, and a full stomach goes a long way to keep a man going. I have, however, been meditating on the events that led to the situation we now found ourselves in. Before the fire, we had been beset by storms and rain, not hospitable conditions for a fire to swell. For now, there is still food to gather and store. A few extra stores of grain is not enough to see us through the winter. I will need to talk to those who were here in camp when the fire broke out. Or perhaps I should start looking for monkeys in the river. File this card in history. These townsfolk go into the discard pile, so they're over there. Find card 21 from the story deck, and it goes in setup. And then we're going to have to do the same crap next game, and it's going to be ridiculous. So, again, it's an absolute drain on your cards. So we have 2 boon cards left to put that next to the boon card. And remember, we have this card now. Now, I got a milk, too, so remember, I could discard that and get 2 meeples, which indeed could be super, super helpful, because 2 meeples is better than 1, kids. Advanced math. All right, definitely building the canal. So I'm going to just discard her to get 2 meeples of any color. I like blue a lot. We're going to spend 2 rations and 2 blues and a yellow to get rid of her. That gives me a thing and I draw a card. All right, blue and draw a card. Now I'm losing 4. I'm losing 3 there. I just have to survive to the end of the round. I might as well go ahead and build this sucker because it's going to happen. Just gives me a brick though. None of these things give me rations, but all right, I'm going to discard her to get a blue and draw a card. That's a lot of rations. All right, I'm going to discard her to get 3 rations. I'm going to spend 3. No, let's do this the smart way. I'm going to spend 1 ration, 2 whites as black, and a blue. 1 ration, 2 whites as black, and a blue. That's out. I get a thing and a white back. I'm going to take, losing 3 there, eh? That's a lost card. That's just a ration. I'm going to take him into here. I'm going to spend the white, put this into here and get a red. I'm going to spend the blue and the red and 2 rations to get rid of that guy, which gives me a shell. I have a billion shells now. I have enough cards in here to make this work, so I'm going to actually discard that to get a wood and a black. I'm going to spend this black, yellow. Draw a card. White. Yeah, that's 2. All right, so we're going to spend that should work. I have a million ways to get meeples. So we're going to spend these 3. White can get equal black, so it can equal any color. And then I'm going to need to get resources. 1, 2, 3. I spent 6 cowrie shells as if they were resources, provisions. So 6, those 3. This one's out. That gives me a card. I'm going to discard him to get a brick and a white. I'm going to put the white out to give me a blue. And then we're going to spend these 3. Interesting. These 2 whites, a blue and a red, and 3 shells. 1, 2, 3. To do this, I get a brick. I have to lose 3. This advances. So 1, 2, 3. And I have enough to lose 1 there, so that's not a problem. So I'm going to spend those 2 to get a provision, and I will call it a day. We're now going to go to the end of the round. This comes back. There's nowhere for it to go, so it just stays there. I have to spend a provision to bribe that dude. I don't have that, so I lose a card. We have to reset this, so these move over. We add 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. This comes off. Well, we have to reconstitute that. This comes off. I have survived to the end of the round, and that would be a victory! Yay! We actually won one! Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, that's the sounds they make. All right, we're going to come out, and we would go to page 2, story 46. 46. This card's really good. I'm surprised. It just seems really strong. Beautiful Tushanichi. What a year it has been. Each new day I get to witness my people working hard to make our land greater and protected from the damages that these floods cause. They put everything they have into this great work, and I am so proud with all we have achieved. Yet there was much more to be done. The floods continue to surge across our lands, and this beast of water seems to grow stronger and stronger. Unfortunately, it's not only my people that are working hard. Every day I send out scouts to keep an eye on the barbarians. Most days the reports are the same. More people have become unhappy with the emperor and rebel against his works by joining the barbarians. It is concerning, but not surprising. Today, however, brought grave news. It seems craftsmen of renown have also been defecting and putting their talents to making better equipment for the leaders of these bands of outlaws. The scouts report of new armor and weapons of great quality. I will have to shore up my own men if we are to prevail in the coming year. Think of me often as I think of you, my darling, for I am entering a dragon's pool and a tiger's den. File this into history and find barbarian cards 23 through 26. Put them into there. These barbarians deal 2 damage each and cannot be bribed. Well, isn't that a wonderful thing? Woof. Bam. 2 damage each is way too much damage. And we will take them and we will shuffle all these barbarians together. So that I will end there. Anyway, I'll leave you too. Good luck. See you eventually, I guess. Thank you, Saget. Jens, uprising seems so close now. I can almost taste it. You haven't been my uprising addiction for a good while. Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's going to have to wait for like a month too. Although, maybe I'll do it this weekend. I was thinking about doing Spirit Island, but I think I'm going to take a bit of a break because the Nature Incarnate stuff is overwhelming the airwaves. And I do not have Nature Incarnate, so yeah, I think it might be a good time to take a break from Spirit Island and Uprising. Man, I haven't fed my own Uprising addiction in a minute, but this game's great. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm gonna finish the campaign off camera. I am 3 wins, 2 losses, and you know, we'll see. We'll see what I want to do with it then. But I'm really enjoying exploring it. I mean, the puzzle is a little samey. I will say that. But I find it less samey than Hadrian's Wall, and I find it more engaging, and I find what it does really well. Again, I do wonder if the story, from a balance standpoint, should have been like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, I think that might have been a better way to go because some of these cards do not seem created equally. We now have this guy is still is so crazy. But yeah, we now have 24 different barbarians now. So the barbarian deck is getting very varied and very significantly so. It will absolutely change how some of these games play out. But we're still ahead in the win column, and that's a good place to be. So I will dig that. But we'll get our income back out. Thank you for the strategy talk from Ryan and others earlier. Matt Harrop. I think this game is quite excellent. I hope you know. Any pointers for sure. I mean, I think this game was, you know, if you're getting income here with colored meeples, it does raise maybe that farm isn't important, so maybe that's something I will consider. I think those 2 farms though are absolutely vital. I mean, you need the white meeples for so many things. You know, for the canals, most importantly, but all your buildings. So getting my peoples is important, and I think getting that one extra revision around is a pretty big importance. Again, this just seems weird because like there's so many. I mean, there's a number of milks that give you one meeple anyway, so you might as well discard them and get two meeples. So I'm trying, I'm having a hard time how that is just stays out for the rest of the campaign. That's like a crazy um, advantage to that I will absolutely take. Um, but Wolf, it's like thank you, but I am running out of my boons. I only have 2 boons left, so we'll see how this plays out. But always happy to discuss this game. Questions, comments, epiphanies, put them in the comment section below. I will get back to you. Maybe not as quickly as I used to, but I will still absolutely get back to you. We're going to take a break from streaming for the next few days. Maybe get something on the channel on Saturday is my hope, and maybe Jen's twisted my arm and made me realize how much I miss playing Uprising, so that is a strong possibility. And then I'll probably get one playthrough of ATO on the channel next week, and then I will be off from the 20th until about the 2nd week of August. So any requests, always happy to take them. In the meantime, thank you for joining me. Have an amazing day, and until next time, happy gaming.
Solo. Too many.